Who are PGL? PGL were founded back in 1957 by Peter Gordon Lawrence, and it's his name that brings the initials PGL to the company name. We are the UK's market leader, and we've decided to focus mostly on school groups in term time. So we actually offer quite a long season with school kids coming on site from the end of January all the way through until October and November. So it's quite a long season we do. That's obviously in term time. In the school holidays, when the schools aren't there, we do the more traditional summer camps. So we've got kids coming either with their parents or without their parents, and we also have youth groups, scout groups, girl guides, brownies, all those sort of uniform groups coming as well to spend time at PGL when the school groups aren't there. Overall, we have in excess of 300,000 guests coming through our centres. And for those of you aware of the jargon of the travel trade, this equates to over 1 million bed nights. So one person staying in one bed for one night, we have 1 million of those over the course of a year. To achieve something like this, to operate something on that scale, we recruit in excess of 2,500 staff at 34 locations on seasonal contracts every year. So getting the right staff is a massive, massive job for us, and it's certainly one that we don't underestimate. So where are the centres? We have a whole selection of centres across the UK. In the UK, the centres tend to be larger. So whilst we have some smaller centres with a couple of hundred kids, many of the centres are 500, 600, 700, 800, 900 guests. And on top of that, there'll be staff, 150, 250 staff on one of those centres. So some of them are quite large. And the centres are really focused around multi-activity. So we're offering kids the chance to have short taster sessions of lots of different activities. So if the kids come on a Monday morning and they go on a Friday afternoon, they'll do 14 or 15 different outdoor sports in that week, plus evening entertainments. So we're really cramming quite a lot in, which is great for the young kids who are maybe 9 to 13. They can try lots of different things. And if they're having a go at climbing and they're scared of heights and they're not really enjoying it, it doesn't matter, because in an hour and a half they'll be doing something totally different, maybe paddling a canoe. So it gives the kids a chance to experience the kind of sports they won't be able to do at school, and they can do lots and lots of different ones. So that's the UK centres. They're larger, multi-activity, with sort of February to November being a typical season. Moving over into the continent, we do have some centres in the north and the south of France, and one in Spain. In the north of France, we do a mixture of the traditional outdoor activities like we do in the UK, but we also bring in some other educational aspects. So we look at French language, French culture, museums, the Eiffel Tower, going to the battlefields, going to chateaus. It gives the kids a chance to experience being in a foreign country. So we'll send them into the markets. They can try ordering food and bread and cheese, and then they'll take that and have a picnic lunch with the food they've bought. So it's all about experiencing a foreign country firsthand. In the south of France, we specialise in something different again. We go into water sports with a slightly shorter season of May till August. We have the Dordogne River, the Ardèche River, and then two centres, one in France, one in Spain, on the Mediterranean coast. On the Mediterranean, we're looking at sailing, windsurfing, and canoeing. And obviously on the Dordogne and the Ardèche, it's mainly canoeing. So we're offering some slightly more adventurous water sports. The kids are a little bit older, so rather than 9 to 13, they'll be 14 to 17, something like that. Slightly more challenging activities, but certainly very, very exciting nonetheless. So what do you need to be an instructor in the industry? To be a multi-activity instructor, like working at our UK centres, we're not looking for masses of qualifications already. What we're looking for, really, is loads of this first one. Lots of enthusiasm. We need someone who can have a big smile on their face and can look at the kids and say, OK, kids, we're now going to go and jump off the top of a telegraph pole, or we're going to crawl through a muddy puddle, all right? We all up for that? If you're standing there going, right, we're going to crawl through a muddy puddle. Is everybody up for crawling through a muddy puddle? That's not great. You're not going to enthuse people to jump in a muddy puddle. Yeah? Whereas if you're the first person jumping in there going, come on, kids, this is fun. Brilliant. So we're looking for enthusiasm. We're also looking for some kind of experience that you've worked or volunteered with kids before. Because while we can teach you all of these different sports, what we can't teach you is to be good with kids. So if you've got a track record of volunteering with a scout group, a youth club, school football team, a school drama team, anything like that, where you've given up your time to work with younger kids, if you can demonstrate that to us, that shows that you're going to be a safe bet working with kids in a paid job. The other sort of things that we look for maybe are, you might have done a sports qualification at college, maybe an extended diploma in outdoor activities, a sports diploma, something like that that shows you're serious about this, or the Sports Leaders Award. I don't know if you've come across these things like Junior Sports Leader or Community Sports Leader. These are things that you often get at school, and it's all about volunteering in your community. So again, that tells us that you've given up your time to work with younger kids in the community, teaching sports or dance or something like that. So that's what we need. What can you get out of it? Well, obviously, you can learn some new skills and gain industry experience because you're actually doing the job with paying guests on a centre. In addition, National Open College Network Level 2 Working in the Outdoors Award. This is a certificate that people can get working in their first season with PGL, and it has credits that you can take if you then go on to college in the future. It's also going to help improve communication and teamwork skills. Because you're working as part of a large team, you're communicating to kids, you're communicating to teachers, and also to your peers. Your team working and communication skills is going to get really, really good. It's also going to help you make new friends. It's a really sociable environment on centre, and we find that people mature, grow in confidence, and get more outgoing through working in a supportive atmosphere of PGL. I'm just going to talk about National Governing Bodies Awards because someone's already asked me this morning, what National Governing Body certificates can I get in a first season at PGL? And I think you'll find if you talk to employers around the industry, we're not going to take someone in their first season and throw a dozen different qualifications at them. If you get the chance to do a qualification, it's because we need you to do that, to be delivering that activity. So it's a direct, essential operational need. And there may be the opportunity for getting something like archery, orienteering or fencing in your first season at PGL, but I'm not going to stand here and guarantee it because it may or may not happen. But certainly, if you come back for a second season with PGL, then we do run winter canoe school at the end of one season or at the beginning of next, where you can get a canoe coaching qualification if you then go on to be a canoe instructor in the following season. So there certainly is potential for gaining National Governing Body awards, but we're not going to chuck them at you in the first week. But the main thing really is it's the reward of helping kids learn and achieve, and this is the job satisfaction. You know, if anyone's worked in an office or if you've ever had a part-time job and you thought it was a bit rubbish, this is the very antidote to this. Because 4 times a day, you're working with different groups of kids and you're seeing the smiles on their faces and you're seeing them learn and grow and achieve as they challenge themselves, and that's an amazing amount of job satisfaction. So that's what this job can give you that no other job working in a pub or a supermarket or an office will ever give you. So let's have a look at what you might do in a typical day working as an activity instructor on a PGL centre. Well, 7:30 a.m. breakfast, nice hot breakfast, keep you going and set you up for the day. I'll probably talk too much about the food because food's really important to me, and I find that the food on centre is actually surprisingly good. Thinking back to school dinners when I was a kid, school dinners were awful. PGL dinners are actually surprisingly good. Okay, so once we've got breakfast out of the way, so I've had my bacon and my eggs and my baked beans, 8:15, morning meeting where we just run through what everyone's doing so that everyone knows what groups you're with, where you're going and what you're doing. And then you'll go off and collect the kit from stores, ready to set up the activity bases, ready for 9 o'clock when the kids arrive with their group leaders, ready to start a couple of activity sessions. Between 9 and 12, the kids will do 2 1.5-hour taster sessions. So on the pictures here, we've got indoor climbing, followed by archery. So that could be the 2 that they're doing this morning. So you might be doing archery, you might be doing climbing, okay? Brilliant. The whole list of activities that we do is quite long, so I'm not going to read them all out, but we have a whole A to Z from abseiling to zip wire that is offered on every PGL centre. We try to have a core activities of about 20 different activities that every centre offers. Some centres offer more, but they all offer a core of 20 activities. Then we come to lunch, so more food, so a bit more food to keep you going. And then at 2 p.m, there's another couple of activities taking the kids through the afternoon. So it looks like we've got a scramble net here, so this will be part of the challenge course. And then over here we've got Jacob's Ladder. Does everyone know what Jacob's Ladder is? Anyone not know? No? No? Okay. Jacob's Ladder is a series of telegraph poles strung horizontally, and the gaps between them get bigger as you go up. And it's a teamwork exercise to see how you overcome the gaps and help each other to climb as far up as you can. So apparently this was originally invented by the US Marines. We've scaled the gaps down a little because we're dealing with little people, not big Marines. But it's a great team working exercise. So that's the afternoon. At the end of the activities, you put away the equipment, return everything back to stores. Now, if you're on an instructor's job today, this is your day over. Okay? In the evening, once all the equipment's away, dinner. So typically we'd have a starter of soup, 3 choices of main course, including 1 vegetarian. There'll be vegetables in there, there'll be a salad bar, and there'll be a pudding and fruit as well. So really nice evening meal. Now, at this point, the kids will go on to evening entertainments. That might be a wide game, it might be some sports in the sports hall, it might be a disco, older teenagers might want to watch a DVD. We'll talk to the teachers and decide what they want to do and come up with a range of evening entertainments that are interesting for them. For the staff, unless you're a group leader, in which case you'll be looking after the kids through the evening entertainments, then you're into free time now. So you can go swimming, you can do some indoor climbing, have a kick around, play football. The time's your own. Make of it what you will. And then later on in the evening, most of the centres have a bar, and we put on activities around the bar to give a nice social atmosphere, a bit like being at a student union bar at university. So how long does this go on for? Well, a contract is going to be a typical 42-hour week spread over 6 days. The jobs will start progressively from January through May. We have staff on centre now, and we will continue recruiting staff until May. So if you're available now for 2011, please apply. And the season will go on through the summer and into October, possibly the end of November. So it can be quite a long season, and many people do it. And that's their main job. Some people take a shorter contract and then go off and do a winter ski season. Choice is yours. And in terms of what you get paid, what package you get out of this, this is the apprentice wage for first-timers coming into PGL. We're looking at an apprentice wage of £473.08 every 8 weeks. Doesn't sound like a great deal of money, but on top of that, you get free food, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, free uniform. Your accommodation, there's a small charge of just over £32 a week for that. So by the time that comes off, you have all your bills covered, plus £86 a week as take-home pay. There's no tax or national insurance to come off that, so that's like pocket money, really. So food, accommodation, and £86 a week is not bad. And certainly what PGL tries to do is to offer the kind of wages that are higher than other employers to make us the employer of choice. So where can this job lead to? After 1 season, you can decide to maybe come back and do successive seasons with PGL, trying different centres, maybe different job roles, gaining national governing body certificates along the way, maybe moving into more senior roles. Or you might choose to do a season with PGL and then go and work for somebody else in the industry, using the experience you gained at PGL and the fact that we will give you a reference that will help you get that second job. Choice is up to you. We find that about 50% of the staff who work with us in any one season will come back and work another season. And that's a pretty good retention rate. You could also become a more specialist instructor, gaining some qualifications and move into canoeing, sailing, or even climbing. Or you could find that if you're a natural leader, that you could become a team leader, so maybe something like a chief instructor or even a centre manager. Many of our centre managers started off as instructors, group leaders, working behind the bar, or in some cases even cleaning toilets. But they've all managed to work their way up and are now running centres with multi-million-pound turnovers. If you do decide to stay with PGL, the good news is that we have 34 different centres to choose from. So the chance to move between centres to gain experience is unrivaled. We do provide lots of training. We have canoe school in between seasons. If you want to move into a supervisory role, we have a senior development program that trains people in how to lead teams and how to be a manager. There's a whole range of senior positions you can move into, and there's also increased wages. So the wages go up in year 2, you move on to national minimum wage, minus some deductions for food and accommodation, and that's about a 40 to 50% wage increase on the first year. So that's not a bad pay rise in year 2. There's also some permanent jobs at PGL. We have the department training, who run all the training courses and the canoe courses. Recruitment, where I work, working out on recruiting the staff and issuing the contracts for 2,500 staff, or even centre management in terms of actually running the centres. There's some permanent jobs there for centre managers. So there's plenty of opportunity within the PGL business. Now, if all of this sounds interesting and you're thinking, fantastic, how do I apply? Well, if you're looking for jobs this season, I'd encourage you to go to pgl.co.uk/jobs and apply online. What we look for is plenty of information that tells us how brilliant you are, tell us about your experience of working with kids and the sports that you've done. Also, don't forget to give us a couple of 2 or 3 names of referees so we can get independent opinions on how good you are, because we must have those before we can offer you a job. You will be asked to apply for a criminal records bureau check, as I'm sure all reputable employers will do. PGL will pay for this, but you must apply online and we'll send you an email telling you how to do that. If you're not available until 2012, so maybe if you're still at college, then feel free to sign up to our email newsletter and you'll get an email about once every 6 weeks, and that will help give you an idea of what PGL is looking for and when. That's really all the new information that I want to give you. Thank you very much for listening. I'm just going to finish up now with a 2-minute video where a colleague of mine called Jenna, who works at PGL Caythorpe Court in Lincolnshire, is going to give you her opinion on what it's like being an activity instructor for PGL.
My name is Jenna Kane. I work for PGL at Caythorpe Court and I'm an activity instructor group leader. The thing I love most about my job is the people that I work with, definitely. Everybody's there for one another, we're all going through the same things, you know, if it's raining we're all out in the rain, if it's sunny we're all loving the sunshine. And when I went away for Christmas, I went home, I missed the place so much. It was nice to be home for a couple of weeks, then I was craving to get back to like the people that I knew, and you form friendships that you don't form in the outside world. We're so tight. We get kids that are quite daunted by, when they come to PGL, they love it, they're really excited, and then when they do, for instance, get to the top of the Abseil Tower, you know, you can see the look on their face change from a big smile to like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I had this one little girl yesterday, and she was a really small little girl, and she came to the top of the tower, floods of tears straight away, and we were like, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. And she kept saying, I want to do it, I want to do it. And I think she took a good 15 minutes to get over the edge of the tower. But she was so determined to do it, even though she was crying and, you know, deep breaths and stuff like that. And that's the most rewarding bit, seeing her get to the bottom. When she was halfway down the tower, she looked up and smiled. And, you know, the tears had gone and she was ecstatic that she'd done it. That is the most rewarding bit. My parents can't believe how far I've come in the past 3 years. They are so shocked that I'm willing to go to places that I've never been before and work with people that I don't even know. Like, I'll go to places on my own. They're really proud of me. And my dad keeps saying, if only I'd have done this when I was younger and things. And my ultimate dream with PGL is to run my own centre in France. So it's nice and warm, you know. I'll be the centre manager, that sort of thing. So I am working towards that.